Homestead. We're doing our live cooking class tonight. It's 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to make an amazing, delicious, kid-approved meal right here live with you. Tonight we're going to be making salsa chicken casserole, which is super good and super easy. It's pretty much a dump-and-go meal. It's going to go rather quickly. In fact, I would even wager that you could make this meal in 30 minutes or less, including cook time. So it's going to go rather quickly. I'm going to go ahead and angle you guys down. And we're going to talk about all this, and then I'm going to have an update at the end of this video of showing you guys what we've been up to in all this time. So stick around for that. We're going to talk about that as well. All right. So I got my trusty, dusty, actually it's not really dusty, I use it all the time, but cast iron Dutch oven here. You can use any pot with a lid, doesn't matter. But this is, like I said, a super, super easy meal. So we're going to just add ingredients into here. Actually, I just realized I forgot my chicken broth. Hey, Jackie, I'm going to go grab a jar of chicken broth. I'll be right back. So I'm going to start out with some chicken broth. The recipe calls for 2 cups. So I'm going to start with 2 cups, but I will say that the amount of liquid that your recipe actually uses depends on what rice you use. Tonight, I'm going to be using Azure Standard's sprouted brown rice. And so if you end up getting that, then you'll use about the same amount. But I usually keep a pretty close eye on the rice that I'm cooking to make sure that it's not burning and it has enough liquid. So we're just going to start with 2 cups. Just eyeballing it. There we go. 2 cups of broth. We need 3 cups of the rice. This is brown rice, sprouted brown rice. I try to use brown rice instead of white rice, and the reason why is because white rice is a processed food. A lot of people don't know that. And it's had the important vitamins and minerals removed from it, which is what's in the germ part of the seed. And that causes it to be white. I'm going to go ahead and turn this pot over medium heat. All right, next ingredient is corn. I already opened this earlier, but I have an entire quart of corn. We're going to use about half of this. If your family really, really likes corn, then go ahead and dump the whole thing. That's another really great way to stretch the meal. I am going to go ahead and add the liquid and all right into that pot. And again, just eyeballing the 2 cups. It looks like it's a little more than 2 cups. My kids love corn though, so it'll all be okay. I always forget you guys can see better without the light. Okay, so next ingredient after this is actually it's supposed to be black beans, but I am fresh out of black beans, so I went ahead and just did some pinto. So this is pinto beans that were soaked and fermented and then put in a Instant Pot and just submerged in some cooking water. And then I just pressed the chili/bean button and walked away. So this whole thing is going to get dumped on in there. It was about 3 cups of soaked pinto beans. Okay. Next ingredient is salsa. Normally I have quarts of salsa, which I do. I have a couple left on my shelf. But I'm also trying to reserve those for a different use this summer. And so what I'm doing is you can buy this salsa seasoning off of Azure Standard. And all you need are diced tomatoes. And you add this and it turns it into salsa. It's amazing. So I'm going to take the huge 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. We're going to dump it on in there. Now, the recipe on Azure, on the website for this mix, it actually says I'm supposed to add about 6 tablespoons of this salsa seasoning. That's way too spicy. If you like spicy stuff, which I do, I just felt like there was too much seasoning, too much spice. It was just too much. So for 28 ounces, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 tablespoons. That seemed to have been the sweet spot last time I did this. with the 28-ounce diced tomatoes. Because we're going to add other spices as well. So we don't want it super, super spicy. Next spice is oregano. We need 1 tablespoon. Sorry, 1 tablespoon. I was reading the ingredients for one of these recipes of this. 1 tablespoon of oregano. Next one is chili powder, 1 tablespoon. This one's all nice, fresh to the top. Today it's very hot here. It is in the 90s, which is, you know, it's June, so it's about time for that to happen anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a good stir. Naomi says hello. Maybe we'll bring the kids out for some milk too in a little bit. I don't want to announce it too loud because, yeah, I'll be rated. So what'll happen. Okay, so the very last ingredient that's going to go into this pot is chicken. You can use uncooked chicken. You could just put like whole chicken thighs in there if you wanted to. You could do boneless. I wouldn't do skinless, but you could do boneless. If you guys have been watching for any amount of time, you guys know that I chop up my chicken into I cook it down into just the chicken, and then I make broth. So that's what I'm going to be adding to this. So this is 1 pound of chicken. I think it might be still partially frozen, so that could make some interesting things over here. We'll see about that in a little interesting time. Okay. Let's get it chopped and added with the rest of the chicken there. This is a nice fast one. I mean, if you had extra time, which I have extra time, I could have made it this way, but I'm trying to make it simple because I know some people don't have time. You could totally have sauteed a onion and some garlic in the beginning of this. That would be really, really yummy too. But this is a delicious meal whether you do that or not. This chicken is still partially frozen. I set it out about 2 hours ago and thought, oh, that'll be enough time. But it's fine. It's chopping. It's perfectly fine. So we are getting all geared up for our trip. This will be the last cooking class, I think, before our trip. We have a trip planned as long as the world calms down. In the next 3 weeks, we have a cooking class. Or sorry, I have a trip planned in 3 weeks. So I don't think I have another pre-scheduled one, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get another one going, you guys, because of just the chaos of getting my family ready to leave and the farm ready to leave. So the plan is to not have one at this point, and if I somehow, by some miracle, if God have time, then I will schedule one. And then I will try to put out some content. But the closer we get to the beginning of July, the busier I'm going to get. And then after the first week and a half or so of July, we should be able to go back to our regular cooking classes. I just have to get to our vacation and to the event that I'm going to and all that sort of thing so that all of the excitement is over and we can just focus on living at that point would be good. Okay, so that is all the ingredients except for salt. Let me grab some salt. One thing that people who are learning to cook from scratch don't realize is if you are avoiding salt because of your doctor or because the world tells you salt is bad and you're switching over to from scratch foods, you're going to think it has no flavor and it's disgusting. And that is because you have been eating food that has salt in it. If you're eating processed food, you've been eating a lot of salt. So if you want your home cooked foods to be delicious, you need to get yourself some unprocessed salt. So not white table salt. We're looking for pink Himalayan, Celtic sea salt, just some sort of colored salt that's not white table salt. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons to this big batch. This is pink Himalayan salt. This is actually the pink Himalayan salt from Azure Standard that has volcanic clay in it, I think. It's really good. And it is actually, I highly recommend, like, to sprinkle some of this inside your water. The taste difference between this and just a regular pink Himalayan in your water is like, it's amazing. So highly recommend that. That was Azure Standard. I think I have the bag over here. Let me show you guys the bag. Here it is. It's called Pink Diamond Himalayan Sea Salt. So check that out on AzureStandard.com. It's super good. Like, I'm going to sprinkle in my water as long as my body doesn't say it tastes too salty. Okay, so this is going. So we're medium heat. I'm going to add a lid. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back probably about every 10 or so minutes and give it a good stir. Make sure it has enough liquid. If it doesn't, which I am anticipating using the rest of this quart, by the way, then we're going to add more liquid, whether it be broth or water. We just make sure that it has enough liquid where that rice is going to cook and get soft. And that's dinner. Wasn't that easy? Okay, so let's talk about what I've been doing, right? Instead of making videos or in conjunction with making videos. So I'm going to show you guys my cheese fridge. So about a month ago, yeah, I'm going to say it was about a month ago, end of May. Where's it, beginning of May? We'll have to check some. Let's check some cheese. I started making hard cheeses with our goat milk. And I purchased this wine fridge because they're actually perfect, like little cheese caves. I'm going to find you guys a little spot here and we'll check some of the dates on this. But I've got, 3, 6, 9, 12, close to 15 pounds of cheese in here now. And with cheddar cheese, just in case you don't know, cheddar cheese is aged. Cheddar cheese is aged for a minimum of 3 months. So we haven't eaten any of this yet. This is, the beginning of May. So they've been going for about a month and a half. So in a month and a half, we've made, what is that, 15 pounds? Is that what I said? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, about 18 pounds of cheddar cheese. So I have more shelves. This is empty on the bottom, but I plan to put the shelves in and continue filling it. I'd like to try my hands in making some like Colby Jack style cheese with like jalapenos in it. I think that'd be super good. So I've been up to this. This is kind of crazy. This is my cheese press my husband built me. And then with the milk, we've been making cajita and canning it. If you don't know what cajita is, it's like a caramel sauce made out of goat's milk. And so we've been doing that like crazy. And we made, this is the thicker one that's supposed to be for like caramel apples. And then this is it's supposed to be a thinner version of it. And that would be for things like drizzling them on cheesecakes, etc. Yes, this has sugar, you guys. A lot of my recipes do not have sugar because I don't use a lot of it. But this is one that you need it because it caramelizes your milk. So this stuff I used, it has a kind of a darker color. I used coconut sugar with this. And so it tastes like a homemade waffle cone covered in caramel. Super good. Highly recommend. I got the recipe off of another channel here, but I just found her channel, so I don't really remember what it is, but she is pretty cool. She works or lives up in Alaska and does a ton of canning and stuff. They live off grid, which is super cool. And then into the other refrigerator, I have, last I counted, somewhere around 23 to 25 pounds of cream cheese. It's also known as chev when you have a goat. And I think I was up to like 3 or 4 pounds of ricotta. So I've been busy cheese making. It's something I've truly found that I enjoy. And at first it's stressful because like right now I think I have 4.5 gallons of milk into the fridge waiting for me to do something with it. But I love the process of like taking something that we're milking here on the farm and turning it into something that we buy. The same thing with a garden. That's why I garden, because I have a passion of like growing as much food as we can and taking that food and turning it into something that we eat because it saves on your food budget. Hey, Sharon. So I just now checked comments. I know, Sharon, you've been on here for a while. So anyway, I've been doing cheese. It's so windy outside, or I take you guys outside. You guys won't be able to hear me if I take you outside. I might just have to do like a farm and garden tour video this week or something, but The enclosure that I featured on my last farm tour for my cabbages is amazing, you guys. Like, that was amazing. That's an amazing idea. The cabbages are growing like crazy. There's not a single bug on them. And I actually planted lettuce in there as well. And it's loving it because the screen that's on it is providing a partial shade. So even on like super hot days like today where it's 95, it's not being fried like it would out in the garden with no protection. So that's awesome. I actually was like, could I figure out a way to put this all the way across my whole garden and then just plant my tomatoes and peppers inside my greenhouse? I don't think that's possible with the wind we have around here because we have like 60-mile-per-hour winds. So anyway, so we've been doing gardening. We've got the garden. It's completely planted now. It's been weeded multiple times. And we also have our over 100 meat birds, chickens going right now. And those are going to be harvested before our trip. So that's been going on. I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Just trying to get things set up for somebody else to care for your farm takes a ton of time. Just like thinking through how can we simplify things so that it's easier for them to do, that it's easier to understand, that it's easy, faster to accomplish. So anyway, we've just been really working hard over here, and I appreciate that you guys are all still there. You guys are all still watching, even if I had to go down to 2 cooking classes a month. And like I said, I do not know if there'll be another one between now and the beginning of July. We'll just have to see what happens. I'm trying to not overwhelm myself because it's just so busy right now. Okay. Oh, and then we had, I need to finish off smoking my 2 hams that I got from that pig like a month or 2 ago. They're into the freezer and I need to get that done. I'm hoping to get it done before our trip because I've actually started making homemade lunch meat. So easy, you guys, and saves so much money. And it doesn't have the stuff in it that the store stuff does. My husband was buying lunch meat because he'll take like some raw cheese and some lunch meat for lunches. It's just something easy, maybe some carrot sticks or whatever. And so he was buying the lunch meat from the deli counter thinking it was healthier than what was on the shelf. Well, I guess he asked to see one of the wrappers about 2 weeks ago. And he actually took the time to research what was on the wrapper. And he was just completely shocked, which I already knew it was bad. But when you're married to somebody and they just want to eat something, it's like not really worth fighting. So I just kind of let it go. And so anyway, he said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I researched it. And it's linked to kidney cancer and all these things. Like it's just a direct link. They've actually linked it. And so anyway, I started making my own lunch meat. And he was paying like, I don't remember how much a pound. It was like $18 a pound or something for uncured stuff from the health food section. It's just beef, uncured beef that had like a seasoning in it. And anyway, I took that down to like $8 a pound. It was like in half. I chopped it in half by making our own. I just looked on Facebook Marketplace and picked up a slicer. And I did that for our bacon anyway this year. That's highly recommend that. We've been chopping it by hand with this knife, the bacon. And it works, but it takes forever and all of your slices are different. And you always end up with like a super thick slice on the end that unless you like super, super thick sliced bacon, it's just not really a thing. So the slicer was worth the money. I think I only paid like $75 for it. And so anyway, I've been using it to slice the homemade lunch meat. And if there's any interest in that, let me know. Put a comment down below. I can make a video about how to do that. Probably doing it about once every couple of weeks. But anyway, so I need to get the ham cured and smoked if the weather's going to be cooler. And then I plan on slicing that for our trip for the lunch meat. So anyway, that is my to-do list. Not to ramble on and on and on. If you guys have any questions, put it down in the comments below. But that has been life so far. William? Where are they at? Outside? Where's Naomi? Does she want some milk? Let's see if I can round up some kids that actually want some milk. I'll get some milk. Naomi, you want some milk?
We want some milk.
You do? Okay, come on over. Hooray for milk. Okay, hang on. I'll fill up you guys' cups. Okay, Sharon, I will write it on my list. How to make a lunch meat video. Yes, Crystal, I would love to see you demonstrate chips on it. Okay, you got it. I'm all over it, guys. I want to make videos that are useful. So if you guys can use them, that's awesome. All right, so we got some kids lining up over here. So super sad story is Naomi hid her sippy cup somewhere in the house, and it may or may not have milk in it, and it hasn't been found, and it's been about 3 weeks. So I'm guessing as summer rolls on, we're going to find it because it's going to start to smell. I'm guessing it has milk in it. That was her favorite way to drink milk, was with her sippy cup. Okay, Naomi needs, can somebody get a glass jar, and I'll get a, so now we do a stainless steel straw and a glass cup that I hold so that she doesn't end up with it somewhere in the house. Okay. All right, so you three can have those, and then Naomi can have, I'm going to hold Naomi and she can. Okay, there you go. You ready? Come on up, little girl. All right. Let's get you some of this. There we are. Yes, she has a bruise on her forehead, everybody. She took a stumble yesterday. It was actually last night. She stumbled right next to a piece of furniture with a wood, corner, and her head came down around the corner. She's had a rough month when it has, it's okay. It's just cooking. She's had a really rough month when it, are you done? Do I get to drink it now, or you want the corn? Oh, that's interesting. Do I get to drink it? You want corn? Corn? She's like, I'm done with the milk. I want the corn. Here, you want another sip? No, you want corn. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little plate, and you can have a little bit. Only because you're the tiniest one. The bigger kids are like, darn it, we can't have any corn? No. Okay, there's your corn. You want to have a snack? Okay. Here you go. Snack and milk. Look at that. Even the organic stuff, sometimes it says on the lunch meat, sometimes it says spices on it, or they put stuff in there for freshness that they're allowed to put. And it's just better to make your own. There. So I'll make a video because I have to make some, like I said, before we leave for a trip. So is that yummy? Oh, we're going for refills on the milk, y'all. All right, here she is with her corn. Oh, wait, don't burp, okay? If you're going to burp, what do we say? Yeah, excuse me. He's kind of going into his boy era where we're having to learn politeness. Right? Are you done, or do you want a little more? Okay. Sure. So I counted when I went to go grab this. This is gallon number 5 waiting for me. Today I made butter. I have been providing, this will be a month and a half now, all of the butter for our family of 8 on our goat's milk. So we haven't had to buy butter in a couple of months, which is awesome. And it's nice and creamy. People ask what it tastes like. It tastes like butter. It tastes like butter. Nice and creamy. If you're using fresh goat's milk, it doesn't taste too goaty. It's simmering, isn't it? I should probably stir that. Hang on. Maybe I want a couple of scoops of milk. I'm trying to think of what else has happened. Let's see. Oh, we got Muscovy ducks. They are in their permanent home outside. I just need to do a farm tour video.
Mom,
She wants a little more. You can bring it over. I'll give her one more spoonful. I'll go get it. Okay. All right, we're going to give this a good stir over here. I know a lot of people depend on lunch meat for their lunches, so I figured some people would want to see that.
What do we have for Mom?
So this is salsa chicken casserole. So usually after this gets done cooking and the rice is nice and soft, then I do sprinkle cheese on the top and then we serve it. So this is still simmering away. There's still plenty of liquid. What you'll notice is if there's not plenty of cooking liquid, well, number one, your rice will still be crunchy after a long time, but it'll start to burn and stick down to the bottom. So I just make sure I run my spoon along the bottom of the pan to double check that. But it should be absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And I just put my, I just kind of crack the lid so that some of it can escape. I don't put it straight on. And that'll just simmer away. It should be done here in a little bit. All right. Milk time, check. Cute children, check. And life update, check. I think we're good to go. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for jumping on and joining me. Go back and watch the beginning if you want the recipe because it's literally a dump and go meal. And this is probably, like I said, simmer maybe 30 minutes. And it should be done. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. And I will be getting out that video on how to make homemade lunch meat. It'll be coming. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining us for the cooking class. See you guys next time.